Hello everyone! In today's video, as y'all saw by the title, I'm going to be going over the books that I want to read for the remainder of 2021. As you may have saw in a video a while back, I'll have it linked in a card up here or whatever side the card is on. I had a few books that I read in the first half of the year, and because I was in school I couldn't read as many, but now I have a huge stack of books that are on my to be read list that I want to share with you. And if you want to hear or see the reviews that I had for the books that I have read in that video or the books that I will be reading, you should definitely go follow either my Goodreads or my Twitter. I have a book thread on my Twitter that you can follow, or I just post my reviews on Goodreads and I'll have both of them linked down below. And you know what, let's just get right on into the video. So I'm going to start with the two books I'm reading as of right now, and there is a reason why I'm reading two books at the same time, and I will get into that. The first book that I'm reading is A Storm of Swords. As you guys may have seen in the last video, I accidentally said A Feast for Crows, and I was actually on the wrong book in the series, and I'm on book 3 and not book 4. But as you can see, I am almost done with it, and I do have to do the whole tab things just because it's so hard for me to get through. Obviously, just the third book in the Game of Thrones series, it's pretty easy to explain. The reason why I'm reading two books at the same time is that it's easier for me to get through the Game of Thrones books if I go one chapter in this book and one chapter in another book and go back and forth. And so the other book that I'm switching between for the chapters is A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. My sister Sarah gave me this book for my birthday 2 years back when I asked for everyone's favorite books for my birthday so I can read them and understand why. And ironically enough, she actually just hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, and this book is about hiking the Appalachian Trail, which I think was perfect timing for me to read this book, and I think it's pretty good so far. I'm also almost done with that. And then the next two books on my list are, again, another Game of Thrones book. This is A Feast for Crows, which is the fourth book in this series. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then this book I actually got from the library because I was there for its renovation, or after its renovation, and I just wanted to get a new book. And this one is A House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. This book I found through Book Talk. The Book Talker said it was supposed to be like a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, which is my second favorite Barbie movie, so of course I wanted to read that book. Now going on, I put the stack the wrong way, so I'm gonna flip it over and then we'll get to it. I have a bigger stack now because I can read more since I am out of college. I have a job, but it's part-time, so I can have more time to do what I want, like laying outside, playing with my dog, reading books, editing videos, all of that fun stuff. All right, the next books on my list, obviously the fifth book in the Game of Thrones series. This is A Dance with Dragons. Again, self-explanatory. And then the other book that I will be switching across with this one, most likely will be moving into more books as I switch across. This is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. It's pretty similar to all of the other poetry books that literally look this exact same way. I love reading poetry books. It just goes by really fast, and I always end up marking the poems that I love the most. And surprise, surprise, we have another Game of Thrones book. This is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a little like add-on to the series. It's a century before Game of Thrones, two likely heroes wandered Westeros. So, again, self-explanatory. The next book I have is The Help by Catherine Stockett. It's obviously a good book. Everyone's read it. It's a movie, and I just haven't had time to read it. It's been on my shelf for years now, and I've wanted to get to it. Obviously, as I think I mentioned in my last video, I've been wanting to read all the books that I own and rate them to understand how I feel about the books, and just to like say that I've read all the books that I own. This next book is You Are a Badass Every Day by Jen Sincero. Sorry, the thing was covering it. I was given this book by my friend Kylie. We had a little gift exchange in our happy hour group chat, and I said my favorite color is blue, and she got me this book because it's blue. That's all I can say, so I'm excited to read that. Next up we have Note to Self by Connor Franta, and it's a little bibliography, kind of biography-ish thing. I've owned this book and I lent it out to someone, and they said I needed to read it even though it's my own book and I haven't read it yet, but obviously I want to get to it, and I think it's a very aesthetic looking book. This next one is Closed Caption Volume 15, Words for Those Who Read. This is actually a poetry book from when I was in high school. I just have it and I was like, you know what, I should just read it again to read through the poetry. There is one of these, my own poem is actually in this, but I don't know if it's this one or the other one I own. Actually, let me check. I think it's in the other one, but we'll see. The next book on this list is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and as everyone knows, as I keep saying, literally one of the most popular books of 2020, and I just wanted to read it to see where all the hype was from. I got a big honker of a book. This guy, John Carter of Mars, it's the first 5 novels for John Carter. As you can see, it's a big, thick book about half the size of my face, literally. It's thick. I'm ready to read it. I'm gonna probably end up doing what I did for Game of Thrones for this book. I got this from Josh, who is my brother-in-law. He gave me this book again 2 years ago when I asked for everyone's favorite books for my birthday, and obviously I'm just now getting to them because, you know, when you're in school you don't read a lot, but I am excited to read these. I'm definitely intrigued to see how fast I get through this book. This is closed caption volume 13. I think this is actually the poem book that I have a poem in, but I'm going to check really fast. No, I have one more poem book that I own that my poem is in, but is not in this video, so we're just gonna skip over that. But again, this is a poem book from my high school when we printed poems, poetry, like just works of art in a book, and we gave it out with a yearbook. So from years ago, this is literally from 2014 to 2015, which is, wow, six to 7 years ago, which is blowing my mind that my 5-year high school reunion is gonna be coming up literally next year. That's crazy. And I have 2 more for you guys. This one is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is a enemies to lovers, just fantasy-filled book I found through Book Talk again. I've been loving being on Book Talk side of things. It's amazing, and I'm very excited to read this book. I really need to stop buying books, but I really wanted to read this, so it's on my list now. And lastly, another poetry book. This is Love That Dog by Sharon Creech. I've definitely read this before, but again, I'm reading it to rate it, and I'm very excited. I just like to intersperse poetry and historical fiction or nonfiction books throughout my reading, because on the poetry side I tend to read through these books very fast, but on the nonfiction side it takes me a little longer to get through, so I like to have that interspersed so it'd be a lot easier for me to get through knowing that I have another book that I actually want to read or another book that I can get through faster on that side. And that was all the books on my to be read list for the rest of 2021. I'll let you guys know if I actually get through all of them or if I read more or less. We'll see what happens. And if you want to follow me again through my journey of reading these books and my reviews and ratings on them, make sure to follow my Twitter where I have a book thread, and my Goodreads where I just rate the books, and you guys can keep updated with the progress of my reading. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this or vlogs on my channel. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
1, 2, 3, funky.
My darling, I love you.